Welcome to The Explainer. Right now, a high-stakes, invisible war is raging. It's not happening overseas, and it's not happening in some corporate boardroom, but literally right behind the walls and under the floors of properties in Atlantic Beach. We're talking about your home's plumbing. And if you live on the coast, oh man, it is under constant, relentless attack. I'm super excited to guide you through this hidden battlefield today and break down exactly what's tearing at your home's infrastructure.
So here's our game plan for today. First, salt, sand, and scale. Second, anatomy of a system. Third, outsmarting the elements. And finally, the professional playbook.
So why exactly do coastal plumbing systems fail so much faster? It's a great question, isn't it? I mean, living on a barrier island like Atlantic Beach is basically paradise. You've got the ocean breeze, those gorgeous coastal oaks, the sound of the waves. But here's the catch. That exact same environment that makes it a literal paradise for us is an absolute nightmare for your plumbing. The very elements that make the coast so beautiful are actually these aggressive, relentless forces. They are actively attacking the metal and pipes in your home day and night, speeding up deterioration at a rate that would honestly shock homeowners living further inland. Which brings us to Section 1, salt, sand, and scale, the elemental invaders.
You really have to look at these environmental factors as active invaders. It's basically a two-front war. On one side, you have the outside attack. If you're anywhere near the water, that constant salt spray is just merciless. It aggressively eats away at standard copper piping and brass finishes from the outside in, creating these awful pinhole leaks. But wait. Then there's the inside attack. Florida's hard water is absolutely loaded with heavy minerals. So while the salt is eating your pipes from the outside, the minerals are building up scale on the inside. They choke off the water flow and just completely wreck the efficiency of your water heaters. It's a total squeeze play from both directions.
And to put the real-world stakes of this battle into perspective, we're not just talking about the annoyance of a cold shower here. A catastrophic failure of a standard water heater, that can instantly dump 40 to 50 gallons of water straight into your garage or utility room. Think about that. That's like emptying an entire large bathtub onto your floor in a matter of seconds. We're talking massive property destruction, serious mold risk, and thousands of dollars in damage, all stemming from that silent, creeping corrosion.
And honestly, it gets even more complex, because the unique local geography acts like a massive force multiplier for these threats. Take the sandy soil, for example. It offers pretty much zero resistance to the roots of mature coastal oaks and palms. Those roots are thirsty, they seek out moisture, and they will aggressively push their way right into your sewer joints. Or think about the older neighborhoods, places near Seminole Road and Mayport Road. A lot of those homes built in the 1950s and 60s are still running on original galvanized steel pipes. And guess what? They are literally rusting from the inside out. Throw in the intense summer humidity that keeps condensation dripping on cold water lines, which is basically an open invitation for mold, and hurricane season storm surges threatening your underground piping with salt water, the coast is just testing your home's defenses from every conceivable angle.
Okay, let's move on to Section 2, anatomy of a system, the three fronts of defense.
Now, you really can't defend a territory if you don't actually know what it looks like, right? Most of us tend to think of plumbing as just, one big pipe system snaking through the house. But it's actually three completely separate, highly specialized networks. First, you have your potable water supply, which delivers your clean water under pressure. Then you have your DWV system handling the waste. And finally, your stormwater management system, which is absolutely crucial for handling Florida's insanely heavy seasonal rain runoff. Each one of these networks plays by its own rules, requiring totally different materials, slopes, and building codes. Let's zero in on that second one for a minute. The DWV, or Drainage, Waste, and Vent System. This is absolutely critical. It doesn't just drain dirty water. It's designed to safely vent highly hazardous sewer gases outside of your home. What this means is that a drainage issue, like a tree root blocking up your main line, requires a completely different battle plan, totally different tools, and a vastly higher level of urgency than, say, a drippy bathroom faucet. If the DWV system fails, your home's health and safety are immediately on the line. So how do we fight back? Section 3, outsmarting the elements, engineering the resistance. The good news is we aren't completely helpless against these forces. Professional engineers use some incredibly clever tactics to fight back, like the 135-degree rule. On horizontal drain pipes, they know that a sharp 90-degree turn is basically asking for trouble. It creates turbulence and invites massive blockages. So they outsmart the clogs. Instead of using a sharp 90-degree elbow, they use two gentle 45-degree fittings. This creates a much smoother, sweeping 135-degree transition, which keeps the waste and grease actually flowing. In a super humid place like Atlantic Beach, where buildup happens insanely fast, tweaking the geometry like this is an absolute lifesaver for your DWV system. And then there's the hardware. This is the difference between a system that survives and one that totally tanks. Inland, sure, you can easily get away with standard copper, standard brass, and standard chrome. But on the coast, professionals know they have to completely upgrade the arsenal. They swap out that vulnerable copper for PEX piping, which is a highly durable, flexible plastic that just doesn't corrode the same way. They use stainless steel fittings instead of brass, and they strictly install specialized marine-grade fixtures for absolutely anything exposed to that barrier island salt. Yes, it definitely costs a little more up front, but honestly, it is the ultimate coastal defense strategy. Actually, an expert recently summed this up perfectly. They said, salt air is the silent destroyer of plumbing fixtures in Jacksonville's beachside communities. I really want to hit that point home, because if you ignore this reality and try to use standard non-coastal materials in an Atlantic beach house, well, your plumbing isn't going to fail in a few decades. Try months. It will literally fail in months instead of years. The environment out there is just that aggressive.
Let's look at how the pros handle this. Section 4, the professional playbook. Titan Plumbing's strategy.
So what exactly happens when your home's defenses do fail, and it's, say, 2 a.m. on a Tuesday? In those moments, speed and preparation are literally everything. A great example of doing this right is Titan Plumbing Jacksonville. They dispatch GPS-tracked trucks that show up within 60 minutes, but here is the real game changer. Those trucks aren't just empty vans. They are rolling warehouses carrying over 2,000 parts. Everything from standard cartridges right up to those specialized coastal-grade fixtures we just talked about. Because they bring the entire arsenal straight to your driveway, the vast majority of these plumbing emergencies are totally resolved on the very first visit. There's no waiting around for a part to be ordered while your garage is actively flooding. They execute a really straightforward, disciplined 3-step playbook. Step 1, schedule and dispatch. They actually text you a photo of the plumber along with real-time tracking so you know exactly when your backup is arriving. Step 2, diagnose and quote. They hunt down the actual root cause, not just the surface symptom, and they give you an exact upfront price before anyone even touches a wrench. No surprise hourly fees creeping up on you. And finally, step 3, complete and guarantee. You get a code-compliant, thoroughly tested victory over those coastal elements, utilizing all those marine-grade materials to make sure the fix actually lasts. Which brings us to our final thought. Your home might be your castle, but are its defenses truly ready for the coast? We've seen today exactly how the salt, the sand, and the scale are actively testing your property, right this very minute. Whether you've got original 1950s galvanized pipes ticking away like a time bomb, thirsty tree roots creeping toward your sewer line, or standard brass fixtures secretly corroding in the salt air, your plumbing is on the front lines. So take a look around your own home today. Are you engineered for the resistance, or are you just waiting for the elements to finally break through? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.